Hi guys, it's me Harry here, and today I want to talk about my thoughts on marriage. So about a month ago I turned 27 years old, so now I'm officially in my late 20s, and what this means is that by now a lot of people that I know are either married with a couple of kids, they're getting married or getting engaged. And while I'm so very happy for those people and their decision to do those things, it's becoming such a thing that now when I go to any family function or talk to my relatives, the only topic of conversation is, when am I going to get married? So I thought it would just be much easier to make a video and post it about my thoughts on the subject instead of answering this question over and over again. And before we get into it, I really want to reiterate that these are my own thoughts and opinions on it and what I believe about the subject at this point in time. So it does not mean I'm saying that this is what you should do or anyone else should do or anything like that. This is just where I stand on the matter. The first reason that I'm a little on the fence about marriage is that I'm not entirely convinced that monogamy is natural for human beings. If you just look at the numbers of how much divorce there is and how much cheating happens, it just doesn't seem to add up for me. And I personally just feel like this idea of, finding one partner that you want to be for the rest of your life and in your 20s, it just seems like it's set up for failure. So again, I'm just not sure if biologically and evolutionarily we are meant to be with one partner for the rest of our lives. With that said, I want to point out that we do a lot of things that don't come naturally for us. We play the violin, we drive cars. So it's not an end-all statement, but it is something that I take into consideration. Another thing that I like to think about is that marriage is something that we created. It's not something that is inherent to human beings. So it's something we made up, like the bank system or schools or capitalism. So that just makes me think, it could easily be something different. So for example, I could easily imagine that, maybe we have a society where you're supposed to find 5 different partners in your lifetime, and that would be normal. And we would teach that to our kids, and generations would do the same thing, and that would be normal. So it just makes me think of, if we created this institution, it could look totally different from what it does now. Another reason that I'm a little bit wary about marriage is that I just wonder, there's about 4 billion people on this planet, and is it something that everybody has to do? I don't know if you guys heard of this movie called The Lobster. If you haven't, I highly recommend it, especially for you single folks out there. Without giving too much away, one of the premises of this movie is that it's illegal to be single. And sometimes it does feel that way, and as I get older, I'm starting to feel a little more that, if you're not coupled up, you're seen as like a delinquent or something. Another thing that I think about when it comes to marriage is this idea that we are told, especially as women, that we should marry up. What this means is that we should look for somebody who has a lot of money so that we can be taken care of. I feel like this is a really dangerous message to send to women, especially if they don't have their own money, because they could be potentially set up in a really dangerous situation where they are stuck in a marriage and can't get out because they don't have money or they're not in a financial situation to survive on their own. I think the best thing that we can say to our young women, to our daughters, is to be financially stable, have your own security so that you are not dependent on anybody for your well-being. And for me, I feel like I want to get to a place where I am financially secure completely on my own before I bring another person into my life, because that way I'm not going after somebody because of their money or what they can provide for me, because I provide for myself and everything else is just a bonus. Another thought that I have on this topic is this idea of settling down. I mean, just look at those 2 words together. There's nothing good that comes to mind when I think about settling and down. I personally never want to settle ever in anything I do in my life. And I, wouldn't mind being in a partnership where the two of us support each other and grow together and nourish each other's visions. But I feel like in our society, especially for women, I feel like we are supposed to prioritize our marriage and family before all else, and that our ambitions and goals should be put on the side and not prioritized. I personally just know that I cannot do that. And so if that means I have to be alone for the rest of my life and figure that out, then I guess that's what I'll have to do. And I always think it's interesting because I always get this question of, well, don't you want to be happy? I find this question to be really funny because I feel like I have a very fulfilling life with no one to hold me back, and I do the things I want. So for me, that is the ultimate form of happiness. And in those terms, I am very happy with my life, and I don't feel like I need anything else to add to it. If something happens to come along, of course, I am open to it, but it's not something I feel like I need to actively search for or prioritize. What I wish as a society we can say, especially to our young women, to our daughters, is that they are perfectly capable and they are whole by themselves. They don't need another person to complete them or to take care of them. They are strong and capable and they can do anything. I do want to say to everyone who's inquired about this, especially the aunties, I know your heart is in the right place, and you just want me to be happy in your definition of it, and you're only looking out for me. I want to say that I appreciate it, but I am a smart, capable, independent woman, and I have been taking care of myself for a really long time. I moved out of my house at 21 years old, and so I am more than capable, probably more than some of the guys out there who still live with their parents. So with all that said, again, I want to reiterate, these are my opinions based on the experiences and the observations I've made from my life and society. So it does not mean that I am against marriage at all. I'm such a sucker for all of that stuff. I love love, and I believe that marriage is a right that all adults should have. And I even protested for marriage equality, so I do think that it's something that you should do if you want to do it. Thank you guys so much for bearing with me through this, and for listening to my thoughts on the subject. And I will catch you guys on the next video. Bye-bye.